The first impressions were good. The build quality is actually pretty decent, pretty well-made keyboard. If my fingers looked like this, probably I could use a staggered keyboard. Okay, so the other day, very thoughtfully, I asked my wife, honey, what do you say if I remove the number row on your keyboard? We also get rid of the F keys, the function keys, which she uses for volume, brightness, and that stuff. And we also get rid of the modifiers like Command, Option, Shift, Control. And we move you over to homerow mods and you start using a 40 key keyboard, so you can get better handheld in the long run. She literally looked at me like this and said, and I quote, "If you do that, I spit on your face and kick you out of the house with the keyboard." But I didn't give up. Then I told her, okay, I'm not using the Club 80 keyboard anymore, so you can use that one now. She just looked at me like this and left. So my keyboard enthusiast friends, homerow mods and split keyboards are not for everyone, but that doesn't mean that we should not care about their hand health. Listen to this. If you do programming or extensive writing on a computer, as the years pass by, you'll start to notice that you will start feeling pain where you didn't feel it before. Like in your forearm, for example, or your fingers. None of this happened to me in my early 20s, 30s. And why does it start happening when you get older? Because my hands and also your hands are crammed in a really unnatural and uncomfortable position when we type, and our wrists are twisted in a weird angle. I've used several keyboards in the past. The one that I fell in love with first was Apple's Magic Keyboard with numpad and the Touch ID. It had everything I needed. All my numbers were accessible and it was just magical. But later on I realized that it was too big and I didn't use the numbers all the time, so it was just occupying space in my desk for no reason at all. Then I got the same Magic Keyboard but a small version, also the one with Touch ID, which allows you to unlock your Mac pretty easily, pretty smooth, and it's a beauty. I used that keyboard for a long time as my daily driver. So far, I say still to this day that that's my favorite keyboard because I used to type really fast on that thing and it was really comfortable. Even till this date, when I use the MacBook built-in keyboard, which is exactly the same model as the Magic Keyboard, my forearm starts to hurt after a few hours. So I had to find an alternative that allowed me to type, but kept my hands in a more natural position. I had to go split and I had only one shot because those keyboards are expensive. So I decided to go with the Club 80. I used the Club 80 for over a year, maybe a year and a half. Only problem with it is that it lives too high above the desk. Your fingers are too elevated. They're not flat on the surface. And I think that was causing a little bit of finger pain. Also, I'm not convinced yet that concavity is really a benefit, but we'll see. Time will tell. So then I decided to purchase another keyboard, the Toucan. I got that one like a month ago, maybe. So far, it's been good. I like it. It's flat on the desk. The only thing that I don't like about it too much is that the last column, the one for the pinky, the one that you're able to see here and here, is too way down. I think it should be a little bit more to the upside because it was designed for people with small pinkies. Mine is not small, I think. That's what she said. I think it's normal size. So I would like to try one with the pinky in the regular position. But so far, that one has been good. So you may be wondering, bro, you're a macOS GigaChat. Why are you rocking this flowery ass looking keyboard? Epomaker reached out asking if I wanted to review the keyboard, and I told them I would be interested in the keyboard for my daughter and wife. So I guess that's why they send it with flowers and that stuff, the design, to keep the wife happy. It seems that there's some drama around Epomaker, allegedly. I came around this video, Why Do Redditors Hate Epomaker by this person. I watched it and there's some stuff around there. I'm not sure if this is real or not, but just letting you know so you can do your research and you can find out more about it. Or if you have any information, please let me know in the comments. Also, I would like to know, how has your experience been with Epomaker? Let me know down in the comments as well. As a customer, of course. I haven't purchased any keyboards from them, so I'm not exactly sure how they run as a company. So with that out of the way, this is not a paid review. They don't know what I'm going to say in this video, and they don't have to agree to it. They cannot modify the video. I'm just sharing my personal and honest thoughts on the keyboard. That's it. Now, I showed the keyboard to my wife. She hasn't tried it yet because she's not too excited about a split keyboard, to be honest. But the first impressions were good. The build quality is actually pretty decent, pretty well-made keyboard. Told me that she loves the design, she loves the flowers, the color, the shape, the build quality. The plastic is really good. Doesn't feel like a cheap keyboard, even though it's not one of the very expensive ones like the Glove 80, which is like $400. But yeah, decent so far. First impressions, good. Let me show you the Epomaker, and I'm also going to show you the Toucan side by side. Okay, so the build quality on this thing is actually pretty amazing. I'm not sure if you're able to see it completely there, but this is just going to give you a better idea. Okay, you will be able to see more footage in the video. If we compare this to the Toucan here, you're gonna see that this thing here is just a small plastic. You probably will be able to see there the printed imperfections there at the very top of the keyboard. So small stuff like this, and this is 3 times the price of this, but I understand this is a single person doing it. Great keyboard, by the way. This is a company, so I'm not sure. Am I personally going to use this keyboard? And to answer that question, we just need to look at the difference between staggered and ortholinear switches. Staggered are like this in a diagonal, as you can see here, and ortholinear are straight lines going down. So if we compare these two again, look at the diagonal here. This is in diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. And if we look at this other keyboard that I use here, look at the straight lines going down. If my fingers looked like this, probably I could use a staggered keyboard, but that doesn't make sense. My fingers move up and down actually, so that is the reason why I use an ortholinear keyboard and I'm not going back to a staggered keyboard. So for that reason alone, no, I'm not using the keyboard. Staggered keys were created out of necessity because that was the only way to operate, typewriters in the past, but we don't need that anymore. We should be using ortholinear keys, but I get it. It's a pretty difficult habit, that the world was accustomed to, so we're not going out of there yet, but that needs to change for sure. Take a look at the difference between using the keyboard flat, horizontally on the desk, and notice that my forearm is angled at a very weird and natural position. That is not normal. In the long run, if you do that for, I don't know, typing 8-10 hours a day, after, I don't know, 5-10 years of typing, your arms are gonna suffer. Not only your arms, but your fingers are gonna suffer as well. So I don't recommend that at all. If you get this split keyboard, I would recommend you to angle it a little bit, the way that is shown here. And you're gonna notice that my arms are straight and my forearm is not gonna suffer from that. So in the long run, as you get older, this is gonna be a huge benefit, and it's just going to allow you to keep typing. What keyboard from Epomaker would I use? Okay, so I only use 40 keys, 20 keys on each side. So it would have to be ortholinear, of course. This row doesn't have to be too down here. It can be more up a little bit, not too much. And doesn't need to have a trackpad. This is optional. Doesn't need to have RGB. We're gonna see if they come up with other split keyboard ideas, but not staggered. Okay, we're gonna see if they evolve and they come up with something revolutionary and cool, and I would give that a try. But if it's staggered, no, it's not for me at all. And you may be wondering, why 40 keys? Like, you should have at least 60, 80 keys. Nah, there's a reason. There's a scientific reason. You only need 40 keys, not more, not less. And if you want to know more about that, I have a video as well. Gonna leave it somewhere in the video description. Now, if you come from a ZMK keyboard, there is something that is called tap hold actions, okay? What this means is that if I press a key, right, in my specific case, notice that here is the letter Z. There you can see it. I'm just gonna tap it, right? But notice what happens if I hold the letter Z. It sends Command Tab, okay? You're able to see that there on my screen, right? So one of the keys performs two different actions. Same here with the letter C. I'm just gonna tap it, just the letter C. But if I leave it pressed for a few milliseconds, it sends Control or Command C, okay? This is to copy, Command C, and this is to paste, Command V, or just the letter V, Command V, pastes. I don't think someone at Epomaker is gonna watch this, but if someone does, it's a shame that this feature that is extremely basic is not available on the firmware that the keyboards include. I tried in the VIA app, or however it's called, and I couldn't find a way to achieve this. And why? Is it because of homerow mods, or is it because of an advanced feature? No, not at all. Something pretty basic, something that a lot of people do all the time. Command C, Command V. I want my wife to have that ability, with a single key. She can copy and paste, but also use them as regular keys. And that is not actually an option. If it is, or if there's any other firmware that you can flash on this thing, let me know. I'm gonna give it a try, and I'm going to enable that for my wife. Now, they do include some sort of solution for that, and I use the keys that are here, okay? So I use this to copy, paste. This is to navigate to the alternate tab or alternate app. This is Alt tab or Command tab, and this is Command tilde to switch to the other instance of the same application. This is not optimal. These keys shouldn't be here because these keys are not standard, okay? They're available on this keyboard, but if I switch to another keyboard, they're not gonna be there, and it doesn't make sense. But it's a band-aid. It's something that can be used in the meantime while I'll figure the C and V thing out. So ideally, you should be able to copy with this, paste with this. Why? Because these keys are always on this position on every keyboard. Doesn't matter which one it is. Even if it's the macOS built-in keyboard, I can remap those keys to do that with Kanata or Carabiner elements, and that works. But yeah, I just want to do it on the firmware of the keyboard. So if someone knows how to do it, let me know. Now let's take a look at the manual real quick. Here you'll be able to see like the default keys. For example, the different functions like how to pair with different devices, screen brightness, mission control. This is macOS stuff. How to control the lights. I don't care about the lights, to be honest, but you can turn them on and off. You can toggle effects. There's a lot of videos out there that you can go and check for that. This is the keys that were on the left, the ones that I showed. This is the default ones. There's a mistake here though, okay? This is for Windows. So if you switch to the macOS layer, it's still going to send Control C and Control C and Control V, and that doesn't work on macOS. So if you switch to the layer 2, which is macOS, this should be changed to Command C, Command V, but that doesn't work. So I had to remap them, and I'll show you how I did that in a little while. The battery, it says that it lasts 11 hours with the lights on and 260 hours with the lights off. I don't know yet. I haven't tested, but it seems that it's a good battery. We're gonna see. I'll let you know. Let me show you the few things that I changed in the VIA app. Okay, so let's go to the app. We're just going to click here on Authorized Device. Let me connect it first. So you connect the left half here and the right half here. Okay, both of these are connected, as you can see there on the camera. And this other hole right here is the one that goes to your computer. Once it's connected, you can click here on Authorized Device. It's gonna recognize it. You just click Connect here. Notice that it picked it up already, but if it doesn't, you have to come here to Settings, Show Design tab. You make sure to enable this. After you do that, you come here to the Design tab. This has to be disabled. Then you come here and click on Load. And here you select the file that you downloaded from the website. Okay, so you just load that file. You'll be able to see the keyboard and you can remap stuff. So here's just a few keys that I modified: Command Tab, Command Tilde, Command C, and Command V to paste when on the macOS layer. I also set this to enter, I set this to escape, and this to caps lock. And that's it. It's not gonna be my keyboard, it's gonna be for my wife. And I can assure you that she's not gonna be happy of having escape here and caps lock here. But she'll thank me later. She'll get it someday. What was included in the box? The macOS keys, which are the ones shown here. I already switched them over, right? Because it had the Windows keys. It also includes 3 spare switches. And it also includes the 2-in-1 tool. This is the keycap remover this side, and this is the switch remover on this side. And of course, the cables were included there as well. So what are my first impressions, my first thoughts on the keyboard? I honestly don't want my daughter to suffer from forearm pain and also from wrist pain and finger pain. And the only thing that is gonna cause that is the archaic design of keyboards, you know, the ortholinear and crammed keyboards. No, so I'd rather her use this keyboard, this split keyboard, than any other keyboard out there. And when she grows older, she's gonna decide if she keeps using this staggered design or if she moves to an ortholinear or what. But at least this is gonna help her hands as she's growing a little bit. Do I expect my wife and daughter to move to a 40 key keyboard ortholinear? No, not at all. Those keyboards are not for everyone, so we just have to accept it, okay? There has to be some middle ground. People that don't want to go through the homerow mods journey and the tap hold actions and the 36 key keyboards or 40 key keyboards, and they just want to use, you know, a regular size keyboard, but it's split for handheld. That's it. So I think this is a perfect solution for that scenario. Now, when it comes to quality, I'm actually honestly surprised. It's a $100 keyboard. Plastic feels, you know, like a really good plastic. Like in the old days, you know, have you ever compared and said to anyone else like, oh man, they don't build things like they used to build them in the past? No, this thing is well built. You know, the plastic is really good, pretty solid. It's kind of heavy, and it's yeah, not going anywhere, seems. At least that's the impression that I get, that it's going to last a long time. So I'm not sure how these guys do it. Are they losing money or what are they doing here? I have no idea, but it's a decent keyboard, okay? Time will tell. I'm gonna let you know what happens in the future, if it's still working, what my wife thinks about it, what my daughter thinks about it, and all that stuff. Just a small footnote. I wish that keyboard manufacturers would stop making this mistake. This key, which is the spacebar, should be a regular sized key. Let me tell you why. Because I could reach this with my thumb here easily, okay? And I could have another key here, which would be enter. I could even have a third key here, right? So let's say two at least, right? Spacebar and enter, right? But no, they make the mistake of making this key bigger and it doesn't make sense. The same thing applies for the other side, okay? The spacebar is just a key when you could have two keys there that you could easily access with your thumb. Why? You take a look at this, makes sense, okay? Here is spacebar, here is enter or backspace. No, this is backspace. Same thing on this other side here with my thumb. I have space and enter, right? So I use my thumbs for those and I can use the rest of the fingers for typing. So if there's any keyboard manufacturers out there, please stop making this mistake. Nobody needs big space bars. People will get used to, single button space bars. You can modify them via firmware anyway, so they can customize them however they want. But this gives way more flexibility to advanced users. All right, folks, so the last thing that I want to do is thank the CEO, Web23, web23.com. I also want to thank all the different YouTube members. Thanks to each and single one of you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe and all that stuff. Remember that, I don't know what I'm going to say here, just something to end the video. And hope you learned something. Let me know what you think about the keyboard in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.